Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. My name is Tyler Ellison. I am going to be channeling Ryo, and he's going to speak to you all. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I'll see you all at the end of this transmission today. All right, it is our species' highest passion and joy to be able to interact with you all through this particular channel this day. We shall describe to you in this video how you can commune with some of the different extraterrestrial and extra dimensional ambassadors and explorers that are currently making contact with your world. So, before we get into the contact mechanics, we'll talk to you all a little bit about why some of these different ambassadors and explorers are drawn to Earth. So, Earth, as you know, is one of the few planets within this particular region of the galaxy that is capable of physically housing what you might call complex, intelligent, and even sentient life. There are many planets within the galactic area, the galactic region that you are in. However, only so many of them have evolved to such an extent, to such a point where intelligent, complex, and sentient life can manifest. So your planet is one of these planets. As such, your planet contains different frequencies of elemental energy that are highly valuable. Many extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional beings will travel to Earth to access what you might call the energy vortices or chakras that are spread across the surface of your planet. Now, there are also many that are subterranean, underground energy centers, energy chakras, energy vortices. However, for the most part, these are not able to be accessed through your surface. However, the energy vortices that are connected to your surface can act as gateways that allow for beings to teleport from the surface level earth chakras into the subterranean levels. Think of the subterranean and surface level chakras as the black holes and white holes that make up the tunnel that you call a wormhole. So different beings, different extraterrestrial beings, different extra-dimensional beings will travel, will shift their frequency in a manner that allows for them to interact with the surface of your planet. They'll locate some of these surface energy centers, and they'll then use these energy centers to teleport either themselves or their craft, if they're using a craft, into the subterranean dimensions of Earth. They'll travel from one energy center, from one chakra to another. And they will then interact with the different elemental intelligences, ancestor spirits, and other extra dimensional beings that occupy these subterranean levels and layers of your Earth. These chakras, the surface and subterranean levels of the planet, have within them databases that you would call Akashic memory or Akashic record. And these chakras and layers and levels of your planet act as beacons that draw in beings from many different realms, from many different layers and levels of existence, whom are curious about the history and the future of Earth. So these different extraterrestrial and extra-dimensional beings will travel to these centers. And not only will they use them to explore and to teleport themselves to different parts of the planet, but they'll also read these energy centers. They will read them like a book, and it allows for them to understand the past stories of your planet, all the different past parallel reality versions of Earth, but it also allows for them to understand the different future trajectories that represent where your Earth is headed and where your Earth may not be headed, because these chakras will reveal both the least likely and most likely probable realities that are what you might consider to be future-based. Now, not only can these extraterrestrial and dimensional beings read these chakras like books, but they can use these chakras like gateways that allow for them to teleport themselves to some of these alternate past or future versions of Earth. They can, of course, also utilize these energy centers, these chakras, to teleport themselves to simultaneously occurring alternate present versions of Earth. It's really up to the beings whom are accessing the chakras that determine how the chakras will serve them and how they will be used. Now, keep in mind that you also have the ability to work with the chakras in this way. However, most of you are not at an appropriate level of evolution just yet where such a thing is instantaneously available and accessible to you. In order to really access the energy centers in a teleportive way, what is required is that you learn how to, in a sense, de-densify your bodies. So right now, many of you are experiencing what you would consider to be densified dimensions of your physical nature. You can de-densify your physical nature, accessing more of the etheric and astral dimensions of your consciousness. And if you do that on one of these energy centers, you can actually shift to some of these alternate versions of Earth. And for those of you that are quite advanced, you can actually use these energy centers to access some of these subterranean levels, some of these inner Earth realities. So there are many things that are available to you in relationship to accessing and utilizing these Earth chakras once you know how to really manipulate and augment and shift and change your energy body. Now, as we have said, certain extraterrestrial, certain extra-dimensional beings will be drawn to certain energy centers, and they will monitor these energy centers for long periods of time because they'll sort of use them as bridges and doorways and portals over long periods of time. They'll make constant voyages back and forth between the different parallel reality versions of Earth, and their craft will oftentimes remain present above the energy center within the middle to upper layers of your atmosphere. So you could say that different craft and different species oversee or observe the energy center that is on the surface and the areas that surround it. Different groups will occupy different centers for different purposes. You can begin to make contact with some of these beings whom are in the craft. One of the ways that you can do this is through discovering the major energy centers, the major energy vortices and chakras that are present in your local area. In order to do this, it's quite simple. You can go out on your own and simply use your senses to determine where these chakras are. You can also do something like print out a satellite map of your local area and simply hover a pendulum very slowly over the different areas on the map. And pay attention to which areas cause the pendulum to spin. This area that causes the pendulum to spin will correspond with one of the energy centers within your local area. You can travel to this energy center, and once you're there, we would advise doing some type of contact exercise. In general, what we would recommend is, once you discover the center, either seated or standing, imagine you are growing tree roots that become incredibly large and descend very deeply down into the earth. And imagine you're anchoring into the core of the earth, to the center of the earth. From here, once you have anchored into the center of the earth, begin to imagine that a white orb of light forms at your heart center. With every inhale, see this orb of light get brighter. With every exhale, see the orb of light expand, forming a bubble of light around your body and around the area. And do this for about 10 breaths, making an aura around yourself and the area that you are present in. This will create what we describe as the bubble reality, where collective belief systems won't really impact you in a great way, thus allowing for you to experience things that might be outside of your species' collective belief systems. So, once you have formed this aura, that is the bubble reality around the energy center, what we would advise is expand yourself. Imagine while you remain either seated or while standing that you grow incredibly large. See yourself growing bigger and bigger and bigger until you are the size of the universe itself. Imagine that the cosmos is all around you. From here, become aware of your third eye. Inhale and think of a orb of white light forming at your third eye. As you hold your breath at the peak of the inhale, put a message into this orb of light, simply saying, I invite positive extra-dimensional beings, extraterrestrial explorers who would like to make contact with me into my experience. May I see your craft, may we commune telepathically, and may you visit me in dreams. On the exhale, imagine that that orb of light emits a pulse of light in all directions, 360 degrees. And from here, bring your attention back down to your body and simply lay down with your spine on the earth in what is known as Shavasana pose. And allow for yourself to simply receive contact. You might find you start to have feelings. You might find you start to get images. You might find you start to hear words. If you wish, you may keep your eyes sort of halfway opened. So that way you can remain aware of the inner realities, thus making you sensitive to the inner dimensions of contact, but you will also be able to perceive the sky above you. So if craft does manifest, you'll be aware of it. This is an exercise we would advise repeating regularly. This is also something that you can do with groups of people. So have fun with this. And what you'll find is once you achieve contact with the beings that are observing that area, you will form a relationship with them. They will start to know you. They will start to commune with you regularly. And the more you interact with them, the more you repeat this exercise, the stronger the contact will become until eventually it becomes physical. So we invite you all to play around with this tool of contact. We thank you all for listening to our transmission this day. And as always, our species, unconditional love and appreciation to each and every single one of you. Okay, everybody. Thank you so much for watching that video, and I will speak to you all again soon. Have a great rest of your day.